Okay, so I think we have to do this in kind of like a series within series because we cannot be just talking about one thing without like what we are about to talk about today is dimensions, and you cannot talk about dimensions without understanding your DNA, your auras, your chakras, your astrology, the Kathara grid, your God particle, and eventually your heart, your biology as well. So let's just see how this unfolds, and let's try to keep this to reasonably short or long, and we're gonna continue the same uh, series or kind of mini series within the series. But yeah, the dimensions are just, it's kind of like opening that Pandora's box. Once you start to dig into dimensions, then it's all kind of starts to unfold. So you cannot just leave it there. So okay, let's put the title. Okay, so dimensions. First of all, even the word dimen, dimens, ions. It's we're gonna get to the ions in the latter parts of this whole thing, but everything is an ion because that's how everything is, or how everything operates. But I don't even know. Okay, let's start with the okay, so in the so-called spiritual communities, uh, there's the let's do that here. There's the 1D, 2D, 3D, 4D, and 5D. So in the so-called spiritual communities, there's the ascensioning process where we're going from 3D to 4D, which is the astral realms and all that, and then we're gonna get to the 5D eventually. So it is that structured system that you should be aiming towards, like leaving your 3D matrix and going to the 5D reality where you're one with God. And it's just like I'm not still on a crusade against anything spiritual or anybody spiritual or anybody teaching anything spiritual. But this, like, I guess this would be the basic understanding of dimensions. Dimensions are light sound densities, and so that's the first density level, that's the second density level, and that's the third, fourth, and fifth. The fifth would be the least dense, and that's where you would get to the like you would this is where you start to lose uh, your physical body, and you're getting into the more of the spiritual levels of existence. But then there's the So my uh, like just like if you're taught that okay, you need to get from 3D to 4D and from 4D to 5D, and then your whatever life experience is gonna be complete, like that would be so before we start talking about anything more than this, you have to remember that you are already, you are everything that there is, ever was, or ever will be. You are 1D, you are 5D, all at once. And I'm not trying to discourage or encourage anybody to make that jump or that leap, or like this would be your life goal to go from 3D to 5D. Like if you think about like this if the pure awareness, the pure consciousness would be the 5D, or actually to me it is prior to any of this. This is the experience through the light sound frequencies. But if you think that like why the goal would have to be going back to that what you already are, like why, like this would be your experience here, the 3D, this reality right here. So why if we were talking about the pure consciousness, why that pure consciousness would want you to be or to make that ascension to 5D? Like what good would that do to the pure consciousness, which already is all of this? And I'm only saying this because people who are not happy in the now, in the 3D, and they're looking to do this ascension process or whatever thing, it doesn't matter, it's just a label. But there will become a sense of desperation, I guess, if you're not able to first of all reach your astral planes, or if you're not having like a concrete experience of that something outside the physical experience. But yeah, like I said, the pure consciousness, why would it require for you to do anything like it? To me, and this is only my perspective, my point of view on things, you are only here to live your life as you do. There is no step-by-step program that you need to do in order to graduate back to that pure consciousness. You will always be pure consciousness, pure awareness, pure everything, pure source. So this is gonna be very lot to unpack what we're gonna be talking about here, and I hope that it's gonna be more interesting than like more thought-provoking than something that you should learn or you should understand or you should do, or it's just I'm solely interested in explaining the universe's mechanics, the life experience structures and all that. What you do with that is always completely 100% up to you. Not it's not for me to do. You do whatever you do with this. So okay, so but yes, we're gonna go to the dimensions quite heavily today. And so this is very much incomplete. This is not wrong. This is the same thing as where there, like what we talked about with the in a previous video, we talked about the Fibonacci, which kind of just explains the kind of the human experience, like on this level, how everything is not sustainable. So this is still kind of in that same way, very much incomplete. And what good does it do to you if you watch a video that you should go from 3D to 4D? How do you even begin to do that? Actually, like there's okay, you need to do this and you need to practice that, and then you will be able to get from 3D to 4D. Okay, so this is gonna be a lot to unpack. So let's try to do a human, and this is just like a very looks more like an alien now, but I guess we're just gonna have to manage with this. So this would be our human, and this is you. And oh, there's so much. I'm just gonna write these down so I can remember. Astrology, DNA, what else? Density, chakras. I think we're just gonna have to concentrate on some of the things, and then we can kind of reflect on what the dimensions are in astrology. Like in astrology, there's the Vedic version, and the it's just the same as with the Fibonacci. Like one, like there's one way in astrology to explain the Fibonacci, how the life works if you use the Fibonacci, and that type of astrology makes complete sense in that, and it works 100%. And then there's, if you want to use the Cathara grid, and which we're gonna be talking about today, then the Vedic version would explain that 100%, and that works like that just works 100% at all times as well. So and as with the Fibonacci, it's not wrong, it's not false, it is just incomplete. So the Cathara that we're gonna be talking about today more in depth, and tie that in with the dimensions, then we're gonna be more able to understand more about, and of course we have to talk about your DNA, your chakras, and then we have to tie that in with your DNA and how you create that dimensional morphogenic, well, yeah, you create your dimensions within yourself at all times. Like and even the dimensions, if you think about okay, so if you want to ascend from the physical, and you want first you get to the astral dimension, astral dimensions. You're still in the now. You're not, like, I'm not sure if I've said this before, but you haven't actually ever gone anywhere in your life. You've had the experience of walking to the store or traveling into another country or going for a walk or driving to somewhere, but you have never actually gone anywhere. You are always, there is no space, but it feels like there's space, and but and again, I don't want to discourage anybody from traveling or enjoying life. This is what it is about. But I'm also trying to explain the how everything works. So you haven't actually gone anywhere, because there is no space to go to, go from to somewhere. It doesn't exist, but it is part of your experience, and I do encourage you to do that. Enjoy your experience. Okay, so and then we're gonna get to the, that's what I said. Once you start to understand the dimensions, like, do you leave your body? Was there ever a body that you were able to leave from? Just as soul, people say that they in an NDEs, they saw their soul leave the body. Why would the soul be in the body? It's the same principle. So, but I'm just gonna we're gonna, oh yeah, of course. So, and as you can see, I don't prepare anything for these, so it is kind of this, it is what it is. So, kind of biology explains, or you can explain the dimensions, and don't worry, this is still incomplete, so we're gonna unfold this. So, and so you can explain the dimensions using biology, using chakras, using density, DNA, astrology. So once we understand the dimensions, and then we can have some examples of how astrology works in the dimensions, how your DNA is well, I'm gonna actually, DNA, we're gonna have to do another video completely, because it's such a vast topic by itself. It's another box of things that but yeah, okay. So, okay. I guess, oh yes, I'm still gonna call it the, and these are just notes for me to remember. Spark. Okay, so the God particle and spark. That's another thing that we hear a lot. And so within the dimensions, there is, like, once you understand how everything is created, not through Fibonacci. The Fibonacci kind of is created using the forever continuous Cathara grid. But like I explained in a previous video, the Fibonacci always comes, it's kind of like the yin and yang, which was just the that's the black one, and that what that is, it's just night and day. It it completes one day, but then the day is done. You cannot have a day without morning and night, but that's that one. Once that it's complete, then it's done. That day is done. So it's not. That's the Fibonacci. So, but yeah, but we're gonna focus in more on uh, the ever expanding creation of the infinite, and that's where the so-called the God comes with the stigma. So we can just maybe focus more on the spark of the infinite that is within all of us, and that's what we create through the spark, and where that spark is. So let's try to draw the Kathara grid. It's not like like I'm just gonna freehand it, so it's gonna look pretty weird. But if you compare this to the tree of life, then you can see that in the tree of life, the creation is always missing, and this is what we start with. So, and this is just a rough sketch, so forgive me for making it look a bit dodgy. But go online, there's plenty of better illustrations of the Kathara grid, so I'm just gonna do it my way. And I'm gonna have to put that, I'm gonna have to do that. There is one, and that connects to here. Then we're gonna have one here, another one. Let's do that. And that there, that. Of course, we have to do that, and then there's one here, and one here, and of course, there's one there and there. So yeah, let's. So this would be called the. I'm not sure how many. How many are familiar with this? This kind of looks like the tree of life, but if you compare to I'm not even trying to do that so-called tree of life structure here, but it's missing a couple of the key points, which the biggest one would be the 12th the number 12, which is creation. And so okay, so let's break down Kathara grid. So what does Kathara mean? Ka means light. Da means sound. And what does Ra mean? It means one. Okay? So this is the light sound grid of the one. There's only one. I'm all about the non-dualistic uh, like this always leads into the non-dualistic. There's one source for everything, and we're individuals having the experience. But okay, so light sound, the grid of light sound one. Okay, so let's the most important thing that the tree of life is missing is the number 12. Oh, I think we should put all the numbers in there to give us a better once we start to doing the dimensions. So 12 here would be 11. This is 9, 10, that's 8, 6, 7, this is 5, 3, 4, 2, 1. And yeah, just please find a better version of this Kathara grid illustration. You can find it easily online. So this is how everything is created. This is the fundamental mechanics of this reality. Everything is created using this same principle. So if you're interested in this, we're gonna have another video just about the grid itself. But now we have to have it here so we can start to explain the dimensions. So even if you think about the astrology, you have 12 houses. What is the 12th house? It is the spiritual house. So this is where your God particle always resides. Always. So everything ties together. Everything. Like I've said, I'm only been talking about the one thing from the very beginning. One thing. I'm just trying to explain the same thing using different labels. The message, the story, the whole thing stays the same the whole time. So, okay. Before we start to expand on the dimensions by them or themselves, when we spoke about the seven chakras, we were talking about the 7 chakras that you are able to identify within the light sound frequency. So on the lower frequencies, it is usually the 7 chakras that we so this is kind of like the root of ascension. But even in the physical, there is 12 resting chakras, and there's 15 chakras altogether. Once we start to unpack the dimensions, then we know that there's actually 15. Same as with the DNA strand, there's the 12, or okay, so the tree of life, it uses the 6-sided, the cube structure, and that's the carbon, the 666 that we spoke about in one of the earlier videos. And that is the human experience. And the Kathara is the octagon. It's based on the octagon, forever expanding. So the 7 so-called known chakras that we are most familiar with is just like whatever you try to explain using the Fibonacci is still incomplete. So like I said, we could call them the resting 12 strands of so if you go from using the Fibonacci's, oh yes, we forgot to write down the Christ spiral and God Christ. It eventually it is the same thing. So within the human DNA there are 12 resting strands, and those, if we look those 12 into the astrology, those are the same as the 12 star crystals, or the 12 seals of the star crystals. And even those those seals, there are actually 15, but we're gonna get from 12 to 15. We're gonna get from 5D to 15 eventually. So it all ties together. I'm just trying to figure out how we're gonna do that today, but it will be done here in somehow. Not sure if it's gonna be very understandable or not. So each DNA strands, if we they represent your astrology, the star crystal seals. Actually, we could add gene here as well. So I'm just trying to explain how the DNA, the 12 strands, or in reality there is 15 strands of DNA, how that is creating everything based on this. So I guess we should just do I'm gonna use that for, let's draw something here right now. So let's actually, let's if we visualize this, I'm not gonna draw it. I can draw it like this. I'm not gonna do the intricate stuff. But this is the way everything is created forever and ever. So this, and actually this is in incorrect angle, but it's usually shown in an upright way, but it's actually tilted 45 degrees, and that 45 degrees is something, the tilt is something that we're going to get into once we start to talking about the breath and the heart. But this is, we have to talk about this first. So all this is tilted in a 45 degrees, and the breathing is actually happening in a 45 degree angle. I'll explain that in the breathing video, but just keep that in mind once we start to go through it. But this is kind of how everything starts, and everything is interlocking. Once you start to create, remember, Katharakrit, light sound, this is the once light sound grid. So once you start to create, this would be morphogenetic field. This is your morphogenic field, and that field is created like there's so much here. Okay, so let's just put your heart there. This is in there, and what you also have here is your 12 rib cages, or 12 ribs. Okay, so I hope that's 12, and this is just your rib cage, and your heart is inside the cage. We're not gonna be talking. The heart is the key to everything, but we need to learn this before that. So remember, you have 12 ribs. So your biology, and there's 12 lines flowing this way through the 12. Okay, so that should be 12. I'm not counting that, but okay, so I'm just explaining how the morphogenic fields are created within yourself. So okay, so we should talk about the heart more, but okay, so you have your brain here. You have two hemispheres. Two hemispheres. This is your brain. It starts to look like it's the eyes, but it's these two sides of your brain. You have two lungs, and then those are inside the 12 ribs, inside the cage, and then there's the 12 lines, and this, as within so without, this happens in astrology, this happens on the earth, and we're gonna talk about that as well. So if you, once you, like I said, the heart is the key to everything. All creation comes through your heart first. And okay, so this is the dome. Earth has a dome. I'm not gonna be arguing about it. Okay, I'm just gonna leave it at that. But these 12 lines intersect with the 12 ribs, the rib cage, and the vortex that starts with the heart. It creates the even before that, we need to learn what happens within the brain. Once this is quite a big one. So the brains, they have the electromagnetic fields. The lungs have the electromagnetic fields. That's why the breath, the 45-degree breath, is a big one. And how it all, this creates, like, there's so many micro macros because it's forever expanding. So from the smallest cell level things, this same procedure has happened infinite amount of times, and it keeps happening infinite amount of times. So trying to explain that infinite expansion, just if you just think that this whole thing might be just one cell expanding and expanding. And within your brain, both hemispheres, there's infinite expansion at all times. Your heart is what is creating all that. So let's get to the morphogenic field, the creation of morphogenic field, how it manifests into this reality, and how we will eventually get to the dimensions. Okay, so there's the electromagnetic field, and like we spoke before, once you unify both hemispheres, you unify your masculine with the feminine. So once that happens in the brain, or those two hemispheres, that magnetic field is unified. That starts to create your... There is that happening at all times. It can happen in all levels. That's why there is... And it is happening without you doing anything. This is happening. This is your 3D reality right now. And this... Because there's this, these lines, the nada lines going up, and within this vortex of your rib cage, it starts to spiral, and there, this is unified. Your house here is in order, and these two, with this spiral, there's the magnetic pull. These pull together, and that creates this, what we've been talking about. And this is the Merkaba, but this is not the Merkaba cube. This is now the, or in here it is still the Merkaba cube, or based on the Fibonacci. But this is forever expanding anyways. So, okay, so I don't know. So now this is where your morphogenic fields are created. I don't know if that makes any sense, but your heart creates a vortex that sends the light sounds travels within your body, and within your rib cage it creates it. That's like the perfect vortex. And because there's the dome reflects that back, and now this magnetic pull pulls those two together, and that's where the Merkaba starts, and that's where the morphogenic fields come from. Okay, maybe somebody understood that, or maybe not. So, okay, light sound. Just to keep this bit more clear. Bear with me. And 15. Okay. Okay, so that's this is the 15 dimensions. And how does this relate? Like I said, this is not wrong, but this is incomplete. So, okay, so each dimension has three levels of density. Within 1D, there's three levels of density. Within 2D, another three. And so if that's actually 3, that's 15, right? So we have 15 different dimensions. And just like within the, like I said, we talked about in the previous videos with the chakras, there is 15 levels of chakra. And 15 strands of DNA is once you go from that Fibonacci to Cathara, then your DNA becomes. And I don't want to sound that it's something that you should aim for or you should try to do. It's always there. Let's just say that the 10 strands of DNA that we operate now and the so-called dark matter or whatever, the strands. So yeah. Yeah, like I'm not, like I will never want to cause more desperation. Like this is not something that I want everybody to start doing today. Like, come to my retreat and I'll show you how to do this. We're gonna be talking about how, well, you'll understand today how this works, but it might not make any sense. But yeah, I don't want to cause more desperation in order for people trying to unlock their sleeping DNA strands or like get to the last 8 chakras or like any of that. But yeah, it's just me trying to explain the mechanics of this all. So, and why I'm talking about this with such a conviction is because this is my own experience. I have no way of explaining why, but I see everything in colors. That's why this is just a structure, kind of like a complicated bullet point presentation of how universe is created. I see this only in colors, but this makes sense because this is just, I don't know who came up with this, but it makes sense because I see everybody, every interaction, I just see everything in colors. And this is kind of where I operate at all times. And don't be discouraged if that's not how you do your thing. How you do is always a perfection. Because everything happens for a reason. Every one of us has such a beautiful reason for being here. No matter how pointless everything might seem at any given time. But even in that pointlessness, there's so much beauty that 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 is the life. That is the beauty of life. And I'm not trying to say that I'm enjoying people's desperation or suffering, but I just see how I see things. And there's only good and beauty. In everything. So, okay. And so, if you look into the 15 dimensions, the colors of the 15, these are all different colors because they are light sound frequencies. Every light sound frequency has these, the colors are not symbolic. Like I'm not using red to symbolize something. The colors are what creates everything. It's kind of like this light sound frequency. That's how everything is created. Like if you think about light switch and you start to flick it like very fast, it creates that flickering. But it happens on a so fast scale that it makes everything here feel like solid. It creates everything, but these are just it's light sound frequencies, and that's just different levels of density. So I'm not gonna be, you can look, I'm sure there's a illustration online about the different colors, but this is where I operate. I see this table, this paper, just like everybody else sees it, but I also see this as colors, and that's the cosmic kaleidoscope of colors, how everything is intertwined, like everything is connected. And like I said, they are not symbolic. It's not like me picking up a color and I'm using that to demonstrate something. No, everything is created with specific colors. So if you want, I'm sure there is somebody explaining the different colors within the different dimensions. And these are also, this is the astral. Sorry, I'll take that back. Here you are in the astral. These are the auras. These are the auric colors. This is the full spectrum. This is the 15 dimensions that your experience can happen. Once you okay, so let's kind of okay, so this is where these 15 dimensions like everything happens only in the now. This is the now. Your experience is in the now. So if I'm telling you that, okay, so you start to go from physical to less physical, like the astral is still kind of you experiencing your experience, you're experiencing your experience kind of like OBs, NDs, sleep paralysis and all that. You're still kind of you carrying that identity. So but what happens, like one might argue that, okay, so if this is happening in the physical, like in the biology, like wouldn't that like what I'm saying about the heart kind of being the projector for your creation. So if your physical body dies, like wouldn't that kind of delete that option of you ever ascending? The ascension is, everything is always in the now. There's no higher or lower. Like it's just something that the mind wants to create. And I'm not talking anything bad about the mind. The mind, even the mind is seen as something demonic or something outside you. Like you should quiet your mind. Why should you try to, if you see everything as non-dualistic, why the mind would be anything outside the one either? Like why would that be something negative? Well, okay, so this is not the mind. This is not the talk. The mind will be talked about in the latter parts of this. Before we talked about the heart, we're gonna have to talk about the mind. Okay, sorry. Going back to, wouldn't the opportunity to ascend die with the heart once the physical body dies? No, because it is the light sound just manifesting. So the light sound does not die ever. It only creates, it only expands. Your experience, the physical experience, it can die. It can die the physical death. It can die in the, once you start opening up the dimensions. And again, once if you want to operate in a 5D but not in a 1D, you are not going to be complete. The experience will not be complete. In all the 15 dimensions, this is the full spectrum. This is everything that there is, ever was, ever will be. Where you operate here is completely up to you. Okay, so just as with the, let's start with red here. Just as with the chakra system, just as with everything, you start, this is the red, the root chakra, red. And this is the purple, the crown, and it's also here, the same color, purple. And so this is happening here. But instead of just having those 7 energy points, we can add oh, actually there's 2 here as well, and then there's here. So you get the 15 once you add all the, let's call them sleeping strands of DNA or sleeping chakras. There's 15 strands of DNA, there's 15 chakras, there's 15 dimensions. And I guess we have to talk about this further in a follow-up video. I'm gonna do that next because it kind of supports this so much, but just this is just the biggest rabbit hole. It explains so much. But let's keep talking about the 15 dimensions. So these first these first 3 would be I would call them primaries. Yeah, okay. Yeah, we're gonna have to talk about that in another video because we gotta tie in the God particle to this in the follow-up video, because that is the cycle of first 9 days in a 15-day cycle, and that's gonna explain the God particle. But we're gonna talk about the God particle and the Kathara in the follow-up video. So so the first three would be the primaries. But yeah, this is just gonna, for my own future reference, this is the eternal life. This is it. This is the eternal life. This will never die. You will never die. Never. And that is the beauty of it. That is, and it's not up to me trying to convince anybody to let go of their whatever you're doing, whatever you're going through, and believe me. No, you can only believe yourself. That's why I'm not asking anybody to believe anything I'm saying, or I'm just focused on you living your life as you are. That is perfection. Perfection. And if you feel like your life or your life is, or life in general is imperfect, do this. I'm perfect. You are always perfection. Okay, so sorry about that. I just so let's save that. We're gonna be here. Yeah. Okay, so this is primaries. This is where the human starts. This is the a light body. Light sound starts with the primaries. Starts here. And then there's the 3 frequencies, 3 densities. We can expand on that. And then let's do. Okay, light body. So this would be secondaries. Secondaries. And this is the crystal body. And that has 3 densities. And then okay, then we're gonna go to, let's call it the Rasha body. And this is where we're gonna be making that. It's actually here. So we're going from all physical into. I wouldn't say that we're all physical in anywhere. Like if we wouldn't be all spiritual as all times as well, there would not be anything physical. But this is just kind of where our awareness of that is expanded to a level where we actually see that, okay, now we're not the identity, we're not the body, we are what is prior to all that. And once we understand that, we can enjoy this. Like you don't have to accumulate riches to feel that to live that rich life. And I'm not saying that you cannot, or you can do whatever, but once you kind of understand that you're like you're human having this experience, so then kind of this whole experience, it's kind of like I still suffer, I still feel pain, I am still sad, and I embrace all that, but it's not something that defines me or my life or my experience. And that's why I'm not trying to anybody to try not to be sad or try whatever. Just embody. And that's one thing, to know the theory. Like if you learn something here today, you learn how you create the morphogenic fields, the 15 dimensions within you. Now you know the theory. What you do with that is completely up to you. But unless you integrate that into your life and you start to embody that, yeah, what's going to happen, or if anything? The embodying what you, like you can read all the books in the world, you can know all the theories in the world, and you can actually like have the understanding that yes, this makes sense, but unless you embody that, will anything happen? If you just want to, okay, I know that theory now, I get that, but I want to learn something more. You do not embody that. You're just here for the entertainment, and there's nothing wrong with that. You love information, and that is, like I said, that is a perfection as well. Whatever you're doing with this information is a perfection. Unless you embody that, that theory will not start to manifest. But if you do embody that, whatever your new theory you want to learn, and you do learn that, what good is that theory unless you embody that? Whatever, you're building a house, you know the theory that you need to do a foundation to put the walls on it, and then you can put the roof on it. Unless you actually embody that, you start to build it. That house will not be built unless you embody that theory. And like this theory will not do anything for you unless you integrate that into your embodiment. And it's not me saying that you should do this, but if you're actually wanting to do something, then you need to embody that, whatever that is. I'm not even talking about this, but anything in your life. So, okay, I keep jumping back and forth. So Russia body, 3 densities, and then we're gonna get to spirit, body. I'm not gonna elaborate on these now. I'm just gonna write these down so I can remember them. And so the final one here is the plasma. I'm sure there's different labels. This is just how I see it. This is the plasma body. And okay, so yeah, so going from dimensions and understanding this, the 12th, the number 12 is what connects all. Everything is connected through, and in astrology, that is kind of the house where everything is connected. So this is the God particle, but we're gonna talk about that more. Okay, so if we think about how everything is connected, and I'm talking about everything, not just within yourself, but within everything, that the infinite is connected. So that infinite is imprinted within your DNA. The chakras are kind of there. The chakras are kind of, I would say that they are what is reminding you of that 15-strand DNA information, which is embedded, imprinted, kind of within your biology at all times. So once you start to that's why, to me, to everything to this, the key to everything to this is a surrendering yourself to, and not surrender to the idea of I need to get from here to here, but just to surrender to basically nothing and everything all at once. I feel like that is the most powerful thing that you can do. Not trying to learn, but once you kind of surrender, you kind of let the chakras flow, the DNA flow through the chakras, and they kind of remind you of that what you actually are, which is the full spectrum. And that's how the morphogenic feels. The more I don't want to say more. There's not more or less, or there just is and isn't at the same time. But the more always sounds like it's something that you should accumulate more of. But it's not. It's just kind of like surrendering that into that nothing, and that's once you kind of start allowing yourself to you're allowing yourself to remember how this all works. And then once you start creating, then all those, like, this all is, it's there at all times. It's not and like I said, you don't go anywhere when you go from here to here. Like, you, and it's not even important. You don't go from Tokyo to Stockholm. Like, it's not a journey or it's not a trip. All the dimensions are here at the same time. But yeah, I feel like the chakras are, once you kind of allow yourself, to me it's about surrender and allowance. You're allowing or surrendering to that. Then once you let this flow through you, you are like the energy. And okay, so we're gonna be talking about the torus fields, of course, but there's like torus fields in everything here. Like, it's in constant, and you are the big torus field. And but it's more about you are allowing, well, it's happening constantly, but it's just you becoming aware of that. And you become aware of that once you allow and you surrender to that. And because it's something ineffable, this is the ineffable flow. You just have to surrender to something that you have no idea what that is. Have no expectations, just be, surrender. And like the chakras, they're sending and receiving light, sound, frequencies. That's how they work. They are sending and receiving at all times. And my chakras are connected to your chakras. Your chakras, my chakras, they are connected to everything. And somebody asked if I see that there being, or if there's gonna be an awakening or something. It's pretty irrelevant to me right now. I'm just kind of resting in the now, that whatever's gonna happen in the future or whatever, it bears a very little interest to me. And I'm not trying to downplay somebody's, if somebody's trying to see ahead of time. But instead of giving an answer to that, ask yourself, is there something within your own life happening that you would call awakening? Like, are you still the same person as you were 15 years ago? Like, are you still interested in the same things that you were 50? And there's nothing wrong. Like, if you are, that is fine. But if you feel like you are awakening, and you don't even have to know what you are awakening to, because there's nothing to awaken to. But it's just you are opening to the full spectrum. You're not here anymore. You are somewhere, and I'm not saying that you are, but you might be somewhere here. And that's why, because you are feeling like, okay, you are asking questions like, do others see that there might be an awakening? If you are feeling like you are having an awakening, as within, so without. So if you are the soul creator of everything. So if you feel like you are waking up, is the universe waking up as well? So, okay, but that's the same principle with the dimensions. And the so-called remembering your chakras. Like, once you start to kind of like identifying that your chakras are sending and receiving light, sound, and you're reminded of that DNA, or that all that information in the DNA, you're within will go from dimension to dimension. And people who are looking for those fireworks, keep looking. This is not the video for you. The fireworks here are anything but they are so much more, and they're nothing. And okay, so yeah, I guess the we need to it is a bit confusing, but it is quite a bit to unpack. So before the morphogenic fields, you like I said, they are always there. But okay, so there's the first chakras. The 7 chakras are, there's the particle one, the particle chakras, and then you get to the morphogenic ones. So the first 7 and then the last 8 are gonna be the, let's just say, least dense. I'm not saying spiritual, I'm not saying least dense, because they are different frequencies, different light sound frequencies. They are least dense. And so this is like the first seven. So this is the anti-particle. Basically, the morphogenic fields are the anti-part. To me, the morphogenics are also in the first sevens, but they are more dense, more physical, and here we are not dense, least dense. So yeah, so this is the hara line that kind of intersects through your body, and it's not really that, but once we start to we're gonna do biology in more depth as well, because the lungs, heart, brain, all the kidneys, liver, all everything just has the most amazing purpose, and everything is connected in the most amazing way. So we're gonna have to talk about the hara line, or the meaning of the hara line once we do that. So, like I said, these are the auric levels. So we all familiar with the concept of auras. Actually, we could have done this if we could have done this, like the purple would be here and the red here, because if we start to expand our human, yeah, basically we could have done that the other way around. So start with red and expand to purple, but it doesn't really matter. But if you think about you being in the center, which you are in all times, you are the center of your universe. So you kind of start with the red. And so these would be the auric levels or auric strands, or I don't know what the word would be, but different colors. And I guess you can also see this is kind of a spiraling thing, or this is something that you can spiral in. We have spoken about that before. So this is like every aura has one dimension. Like within the 5D or the 15 dimensions, there's the five, like the first three are 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So there's the 3 dimensions in every, or 3 densities in every dimension, basically. 3 different levels of frequency of light and sound. So it's kind of like the hues change within the density. And so these, like, to me, this is all constantly happening here, because that's what your heart is projecting. But because your level of awareness, awareness is always also something that it comes with that, like you should be more aware. I'm saying that you just start to remember, because it's always there. You just kind of have forgotten. We forget our car keys every now and then, so it's nothing bad. So if you want to remember, this is kind of a reminder. So okay, so these auric levels, auric fields, or 15 dimensions. Here they all they create this like electromagnetic spiral. that we spoke about before in the previous videos. And that spiral creates the field. And this is the field where you are operating, where you are consciously operating. This is where your awareness is at any given time. So I guess it's easier to demonstrate, use the levels to demonstrate it, but it's not, to me, it's not levels. It is just, to me, it is kind of just the point of view where you are. And once you, like to me, this is not what you should be aiming towards. To me, this is something worth aiming to. And if you are here, you are here, and you're literally right here, right now. So accepting this and this and integrating the whole thing, then you are complete. The words are just not my friend today, but yeah. Okay, so okay, so I feel like let's use energy, like this frequency vibration. That's what creates the energy, so-called energy. And it moves within, like there's so many different, like every cell has the same thing happening, like it's the infinite, forever expanding eternal life. So if like this still manifests into here, same as this manifests into here, so they're not like excluding each other. It's just your light sound. It's the visible field that you are able to see at any given time. Oh, okay, yeah. So I forgot to add to these. So the primaries. This is kind of like the course. Let's see, called. This is your physical body. The 1D, and it's got different levels of density. So you get three different dimensions, and then we get to here we have this is the emotional, and we start to get to astral. So we're right here, and so Russia, I think this is your mental. This is your mental body, your mind body. And spirit would be, let's use avatar. And this is let's put this even if it comes with a stigma, but this is still, like I said, all this, there is something prior to this, but this explains your life reality and whatever you're doing here, on which dimension you are having your experience in, how your chakras are all connected, or all the chakra colors are these colors. So yes, so the chakra colors are these colors here. So so yes, there's something prior to any of this, but to me, this is the important. This is your experience, your life. So okay, so the light sound. So with the red, you operate in the least, or the lowest frequency, and here you're at the highest frequency. And the okay, let's do this before we go. Okay, so there's the okay, so if we think about the sound waves, light waves, and there is like a neutral light field, and then there's the electric light field, and then there's the magnetic light field. So this is the Holy Trinity. This is the principle of all creation. There is the neutral light field with electric light field and the magnetic light field. This is the true Holy Trinity. Holy as in complete Trinity. Nothing is created without this. And these are the like the level of the sound wave, light sound wave, the frequency is the differentiation between the different dimensions. And if you think about radio frequencies, like different radio stations, they operate on different frequencies, and you cannot listen to two dimensions or two radio frequencies at the same time. And that's why this is not like, these are like, they are not physical borders or lines, but there is, the dimensions are not like bleeding into each other. They are kind of like sectioned off, and that is because this frequency and this, you cannot be in the same, you cannot experience the two frequencies at the same time. Does that make sense? So, but you are operating the radio dial, so you can go with switching off the dial between the different dimensions, but they are kind of like, you cannot be in the same or in different frequency dimensions in, or you are sorry, let's do this one more time. You are the full spectrum at all times, but your experience can only happen in one at any given time, because the frequencies are different. So if you want to listen to this radio station, you have to tune into that, but then you're not able to do this, but you have the control of the dial. Okay, so the different dimensions, let's put down the 15 chakras. Okay, so I ran out of battery, so forgive me for that, but so let's go through the chakras and just to showcase how they interact with the different dimensions as well. So root, sacral, third would be, this is the solar plexus. Fourth is heart. Fifth, throat. Sixth would be, well, this is the third eye. Seventh, this is the crown. So now we're basically listed the traditional, the more known chakras, but there's 8 with this, which is thymus, 9 thalamus, and 10 would be, okay, let's just put this galactic galactic avatar. 11, this is the universal creation. Universal creation. This is like the Earth, galaxy connection. 13. This is the God. Let's call it God connection. but this is like the, if we talk about third eye, this is, third eye is your individual, and this is when we are in a non-dualistic, we're getting into non-dualistic, well, starting here, but here there's nothing but. And 14 would be, this is the unit, well, let's just put consciousness. And 15 is, this is what is the source. Okay, so, and like I mentioned, that there are the energy lines, energetic lines running through your body. These are called the axiatones, axiatone. Well, and these are there's 7 on each side of the body. They kind of interact, and they kind of go like that. They're not just straight lines and they go, but there's 7 on each side, and then there's the hara line in the middle. So these are the points of energy between every, these actually, they create the chakras based on the information on the DNA. This is the biology that these are the 15 dimensions within the 15 dimensions within the 15 dimensions. It's an infinite amount of this, basically. But these axiatonal, I should have looked, but these are kind of the lines that create the chakras. This is the DNA information that creates the chakras. So every one of these axiatonal lines, they represent one dimension, one DNA strand, and one chakra. And they can also represent the star crystal seals, 15 star creational 15 star crystal seals, and also 15 dimensions of consciousness. So these lines are what carries this within you, but the field, the morphogenic fields, is kind of, I guess the term activate something is often used, but I guess you could use this is what activates each field. I like the word you remember each field as you remember your chakras, your DNA, all that. But yeah, you could use, you can activate these by how you remember you and what kind of a morphogenic field you create with that information. So this is all our, like, here there is no soul. Soul is your experience. Soul is what is experiencing this. Soul is one cell, each cell. Well, yeah. So, but this is all about the soul, heart, brain, or soul, heart, mind connection, creating this and operating here. And when we start to talk about more on the biology side of things, then we can understand the chakras and the different dimensions on the health aspect of things, and how everything is connected and why everything works as they do. So I guess on the next time we're gonna start to unpack this more, and we're gonna get to the all kinds of nice things with that. So I guess this was a long one because my camera ran out of juice as well. So let's just leave it at that. And just wanna thank you all from the bottom of my heart.